Hello, BookTube. Welcome back to my 2024 library tour. This is part 6 of classics, canonical, modern, and contemporary fiction, poetry, and drama. Sorry about the location. This part of my library is out in the hall, which is why I used to have the door to my bedroom right here. Do not worry, there is nobody here, so there will be no jump scares. Let's get going. First up are several collections of poetry. I thought there would be more Wolves by Sarah Ryan. This is an okay collection. This is Sappho, translated by Mary Bernard. It's a classic, obviously. It's some fragments from Sappho. This is the collected poems of George Zephyrus, translated by Edmund Keeley and Philip Sherrard. I really like this collection. I read it last year and it was really good. Next is Frank Sonnets by Diane Seuss. This is a really good collection of poetry. Really good. Next is Mummy Eaters by Cherry Shinoda. This is an okay collection. It's centered around Coptic Egyptian identity. Next is a novel, The Stone Diaries by Carol Shields. Did not get on with this at all, despite my hopes. The next batch of books are by A.V. Shockley. First up is Half Red Sea, which is a really cool collection. My favorite collection of hers, though, is her second one. The New Black. In her more recent collections, Semi-Automatic and her most recent, Suddenly We, are also very good. Next up is Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Sri, translated by Daisy Rockwell. I will one day bill redeem this book. I will. It's about India. I have it's been a while since I had to go at it. So the next two books are poetry by Austin Smith, Almanac, which is a really good collection. And I also like his more recent Flyover Country. I really love Austin Smith's work, and hopefully there will be a new collection soon. This is The Fairy Queen by Edmund Spenser. One of those mammoths that I wish I had conquered. But I had to go at it a few years ago for an overly ambitious March of the Mammoths and ended up failing. Well, I ended up failing on all of them. I probably should not be as overambitious with my March of the Mammoths. This is a short story collection, Glossary for the End of Days by Ian Stansel. Not a particularly good collection of short stories, I have to say. This is The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, a classic of 20th century American literature, about Oklahoma farmers moving to California during the Dust Bowl. Next is another collection of poetry, limited editions by Carol Stone. This is also quite good. This is Lives of the Caesars by Suetonius, which I have never gotten around to yet. Back to poetry with The Ruined Elegance by Fiona Z. Lorraine. This is okay. I run hot and cold with Fiona C. Lorraine's work. I also have a second collection by her, Rain in Plural. The next three are by Wisława Szymborska, my favorite poet. This is 17 poems by, or Sounds, Feelings, and Thoughts, or Sounds, Feelings, Thoughts, 17 poems by Wisława Szymborska, translated by Magnus J. Krinsky and Robert A. McGuire. This one was put out by Princeton and is a reissue of one that came out in the 70s or 80s. My favorite selected collection of Szymborska's work is View with a Grain of Sand, which I have had for a very long time. This is a wonderful collection and is translated by Stanislaw Berenchak and Claire Kavanaugh. And they also translated a larger collection of her poetry called Map, Collected in Last Points. Next is The Poetess Counts to 100 and Bows Out by Ana Enriqueta Terran, translated by Marcel Smith. I wish I'd gotten on with this collection better. Native Guard by Natasha Tristui. I just recently read it, and it's okay. This is The Way We Live Now by Anthony Trollope. I picked this up for Victober and did not get on with it. Next is a novel by Christos Tsiolkas, Loaded. So this is a gay novel set in late 1990s Australia about a young Greek Australian who's trying to come to terms with his sexuality. Did not get on with it as well as I would have liked. Did not particularly care for the style. Back to poetry with Sibilants by Sally Van Doren. This is also a really good collection. This is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. And a great illustrated classics. Have not gotten around to it. Have never read Jules Verne. I also have The Aeneid by Virgil, which is a classic. Although one that I'm not particularly that fond of. I much prefer The Iliad and the Odyssey. Next is Sterling Karat Gold by Isabella Widener. Well, this is a weird novel that I did not get on with at all. And won the Goldsmith Prize somehow or other. And finally, for this shelf, I have Omeros by Derek Walcott. This is a modern epic poem that sort of recontextualizes the Trojan War and Homer to St. Lucia. And it's quite good. Although certainly not what I remembered it. I first read it in 2005. And then a few years ago, I reread it for the first time since then. And it was a very different reading experience. But I will kind of probably go back to it at some point in the future. So that concludes Shelf 6 of Classics, Canonical, Modern, and Contemporary Fiction, Poetry, and Drama. I will be back to wrap up Classics, Canonical, Modern, and Contemporary Fiction, Poetry, and Drama soon. So until then, thank you, BookTube. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.